So, another week, another farm, this time to Lewis Land and Stock. Jay Lewis is our farmer this week.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having us. So, you've got quite a bit of, you've got a big job to do between, you've got a dairy farm, you've got a beef farm, you've got grain farm.
Yep.
You do some trucking, but what we're going to look at today is actually your sheep farm or your lamb farm, because you're a little bit unique compared to some other farmers. A lot of farmers will have the ewes that will give the lambs, and then they're going to sell those lambs, but you actually buy a lot of those.
And we buy our lambs in as feed lambs and feed them off to market weight.
To kind of whatever that
Yep.
your customer wants
That's
in
correct.
terms of a weight for a lamb, and you do quite a few. You will.
We do a few a year. Yeah.
You do a few a year, and kind of looking over the barn here, that's obviously evident. But maybe you can kind of give me an idea. I mean, you've been in the sheep business. You've been doing this for a number of years as a family farm.
So we started our business of feedlotting lambs around 1996, and we've grown our business from one older bank barn establishment that we started with to now feeding at about 7-8 facilities,
And
within 4 or 5 kilometers of where we're standing here today.
but it's all your family farm
It's
that does
all
it all.
family. Yep. One of our keys to our business success is family.
Yeah.
We're all based on family.
Why do you think so?
Well, there's always strength in family. No matter how mad you get at your dad or how mad you get at your brother, with our family anyways, we're always able to go back to the dinner table and still be able to share.
You all want what's best for the family.
We
and the
want
farm.
it to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe I'm the 5th generation farmer right now. I want the 6th generation is in the pipe, ready to go, and they're old enough now that they need to be here, and they will be here. So family's key, and we try to treat all our employees like their family. I mean, we expect them to work like family. They do work like family, and if you can get your people around you to do that, it's a lot better strength. You're a lot stronger organization to feel like family. The key term that I hear out of my employees when they talk to us, when I hear my guys talk about we or us, then I know I got the right team. But when I hear guys talk about, well, I did this and I did that, but if we do this or let's us do this, then I know that we're going to have a key to success. That's a pretty big part for us.
Oh, that's neat. So now, I mean, looking out over the barn, I mean, in terms of, what does it take to you buy that lamb that, well, I mean, we were chatting. We had that video from Kerry Woolley not too long ago.
So we bought some lambs from Kerry Woolley, and we source our lambs from anywhere from Alberta to somewhere out in Quebec. I've bought lambs out of New Brunswick before. We don't stretch much past our sourcing past Alberta, and in fact, Alberta is just a little bit too far away.
Yeah.
The trek here is too far, but most of our lambs are sourced out of Brandon, Manitoba. We have one buyer, so we sort of have it set up so that we have 3 people that supply us with lambs. We have a guy in Ontario that buys a lot of lambs, which usually isn't me. I have a guy in Brandon, Manitoba. He buys a lot of stuff for us, and then we have a guy we use in Quebec.
Now, when they get here, what happens? What's your step in this process?
So when our step in the process is that we would generally, when we started, we thought that there was an avenue for us to take lambs that were underfinished and underfed, maybe being delivered to the market in the incorrect form, and turning them into lambs that were marketable. They're still in Western Canada. There still is certain parts of the world where guys raise sheep and do what they're good at, and maybe aren't so good at feeding. So I would like to think that we're probably good at feeding. We're not good at, maybe my strength isn't in lambing out a whole bunch of ewes. So we felt that this was a strength that we were good at, and we wanted to expand on it. We tried to do a good job presenting our product to the consumer or to the packer. If you look across the barn, we shear a lot of lambs. Shearing is really good for comfort of the lambs. There's value in the wool, and I think a lot of people the wool industry gets a little bit misrepresented.
Now, one of those, taking a look at some of your lambs that are being shorn, I mean, it's one of those things that, I've seen online before, some negative press around shearing lambs.
Yep.
But, clearly they're not under a lot of stress.
No,
and then
the amount of time that they would be getting shorn. I mean, there's guys that will shear lamb in under a minute. So yes, you do grab the lamb, you do put it in a space to hold on to it, but you can't shear them when they're standing still. They do have to be confined for their safety and yours. I mean, if that lamb isn't confined when you shear it and held on to, and he wiggles and you're shearing, he's going to get cut.
Yeah. But I mean, those ones that we were looking at, I mean, I couldn't find a nick on any of them.
And if the guys are good at their job, there's not a lot.
Now, in terms of why you do that, beyond wanting the wool, it's actually pretty good for the lamb too.
Health reasons are for the lamb. Yeah, you gain the lamb is more comfortable. I mean, it's like you and I when we drop 3 or 4 pounds or 5 pounds. I could drop a lot more than 5 pounds. I get it, but we want to shear those lambs to remove that weight. There's a lot of reasons we do shear. Feed conversions, animal density are some of the big ones. Healthiness of the animal when they're done, they're comfortable. They seem to, after they shear, the animal seems to hit a growth spurt. They seem to really, and you can watch their intakes. You can really, if you shear a pen of lambs and you come back to that pen, and if you weighed they're eating X amount of pounds on shearing day or the day before, they're eating X plus Y when they're done.
Well, because you were saying, like, there's actually, it's not just a half pound or a pound here. Like, you can remove a pile of wool off a lamb.
Well, on a year-old lamb, which is, we shouldn't have them, but we do get yearlings, you'll be shearing some fleeces up to 5 to 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight that they'd be comfortable not carrying around.
Yeah, and why does a meat packer want to buy wool?
Yeah, they don't. It's not their product.
Yeah.
So
I want to sell it to them, but why do I want to buy it?
Yeah.
They don't want to buy it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, now you were saying that your strength as a lamb farmer here is feeding lambs.
Yep.
What do you feed a lamb?
So we feed apple pomace, which is a byproduct out of the apple industry. It's the pulp left over after they make juice.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And then we feed dry corn distillers, and we feed brewer's grain out of the brewer industry. Like it's a barley brewer's grain. We feed corn silage, oatlage, tripper, all harvested.
What's tripper?
Triticale and peas.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep, chopped up with a harvester.
Yeah.
We feed rolled dry corn.
Yeah.
That's our energy source in the ration. And straw. We do feed straw. We feed in our ration. The straw makes up about 4 to 5% of the ration.
So you're talking a lot of that stuff. You're talking are actually byproducts that we, as people, would never consume on its own. I mean, that brewer's grain. I mean, I love the first product,
yeah.
But I mean, that's something that would just be thrown away if it wasn't for.
One of the keys, I think, to being able to be financially viable in the industry is you got to find in a feed ration, a protein is a very expensive source. So that was one when we started our business. We fed all dry, high energy products, but they came at a cost, and we had to revisit it. And when we revisited, we ended up that we wanted to feed a byproduct to get the protein cost, because the protein makes a lot of the cost. So now we feed all under a team harvest.
Yeah, all mixed up together.
All mixed up to go.
And how do you decide? How many scoops of that to put in and how many scoops of this? How do you decide?
Well, we work with our local feed mill, and we balance our ration weekly or monthly, and we sit down and have a really strong working relationship with them. And then I guess that's how we decided was and a lot of it was through trial and error. People told me I couldn't feed certain things, and they were a waste, but we do feed apple, a lot of apple, and we find that it works.
So to have a nutritionist basically balancing everything out for you.
That's correct.
I mean, they're presumably fairly good at the knowledge, and they know what a lamb needs day to day.
That's right.
And can balance it out for you.
Yep, that's we use him. We as I said, our team, we have to work. I need to be the weakest link, not the guys around me. So.
Well, appreciate the tour.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.